Hello and welcome to the halftime report here on Bear Football, part of the Barroom Network. John Maffone alongside Aldo Gandia and Tyler Ellis. The Bears ahead of the, I almost said Oakland Raiders and then almost said LA Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders by a score of 14-3. Some pleasant surprises in this one. So far, Justin Fields 8 of 14 for 68 yards, but the Bears as a team almost 100 yards of rushing between Herbert, Damian Williams, and Justin Fields himself. Gentlemen, pretty good half. A lot to break down here. We only have a little bit of time, but Aldo, what's your first initial thought of this first half?
My initial thought is I'm proud of this version of the Chicago Bears team. This is a team that I can get behind. They're playing smart football. They're taking advantage of the breaks that the Raiders have given them. They're running the ball in Chicago Bears style. The defense is playing with furious abandon. I like this version of the Chicago Bears. Please, Matt Nagy, whatever you're not doing, continue not to do it.
Gaines, what'd you see out there?
Like, tag me in, like WWF. Tag me in, tag me in. First of all, I freaking missed this halftime report. That freaking beat from the halftime show just pumps me up, bro. But real quick, I love the Chicago Bears. After a couple 3-and-outs to start the game off, the Raiders are a team that scores points to get yards. We have busted coverages early on. Why is Dan Waller open? But the fact that the Bears show resilience, and this is what I love. I'm seeing a moving pocket. I'm seeing a step up. Roquan Smith playing sideline to sideline, preventing first downs. I'm seeing Khalil Mack. I'm seeing Robert Quinn in the backfield, and I'm like, wow. Like Aldo said, whatever you're not doing now, I know you're not doing it. Stay there. But I'm excited, John. Take us in.
Absolutely, because you look at this run game, they were imposing their will like we've been asking them to do for, I think, 4 years now, is to impose your will, establish the run game, and punch the other team in the mouth, much like what the Raiders did to the Bears in London a couple years ago when they just basically out-physicaled the Bears. The Bears are trying to do that now. The Bears, like you said, Aldo, taking advantage of some of those miscues, a couple roughing the passer calls, illegal hands to the face, the touchdown run called back for the Raiders because of a hold. So the Bears capitalizing on that. Now, one thing that we should talk about is some of the injuries. Justin Fields, scary moment there with that hyperextension of his knee, but he's back out there. I think before the series was even over, Andy Dalton basically went in there and handed the ball off a few times, and Justin Fields is back. But guys, he is getting beat up. What do they got to do to protect him a little bit more? Because you see Alex Barr's in a little bit more. They're having six-man protection. Jermaine Ifedi goes out. We're not sure what the extent of that injury is. Although they are moving the pocket and Justin Fields is being himself, you can't keep getting that kid hit like that, though.
Yeah. Well, I think it's pretty obvious the Raiders came out with a game plan to try to intimidate the rookie, and that's why they have had these roughing the passer penalties. And so hopefully they're going to chill with that, because it doesn't work with this young man. This guy is got nerves of steel, or whatever you want to call them. He just will not get rattled. I'm not sure what Bill Lazor and Matt Nagy have to do in terms of more protection. They just have to really keep doing what they're doing, and the referees have to continue to throw flags. That's the only way to avoid this young man getting injured. And also, he can help himself by getting rid of the ball just a tad quicker.
Absolutely, John, because I was talking about it before the show. Pocket presence. He has to be aware of that blind side. I mean, Justin Fields, he took a similar hit like he did in college, that big hit to the ribs, a similar hit. We don't want his ribs getting shattered and stuff like that. But even it's not just almost the hit, it's when he goes down to the ground to brace for the fall. Those are how labrum tears happen. And those are the things that we want to prevent as well. I don't want him to keep brace himself. That's wear and tear on a still a very young man, a very young man. And so, but that's what I see, John.
Yeah, and let's talk about that offense a little bit more. We weren't sure what to expect with this 1-2 punch between Damian Williams and Khalil Herbert. David Montgomery, is not easy to fill those shoes. We weren't sure what was going to happen, but both of them look like they're fully capable as a 1-2 punch of carrying this run game and doing it effectively. Although we talked about whether or not Khalil Herbert should get a big share load of this. I thought that he was ready, and it looks like he is ready for that moment to be that accessory in the run game.
Yeah, they have not put him into any dangerous parts where he has to pass block and protect the quarterback. The substitution pattern has been great for him. He certainly sees the field really well, and he almost busted a couple of runs there. He could have had more explosive plays, and I believe that they're going to come. If they continue with this game plan of feeding Williams and Herbert the ball, you're going to see Khalil Herbert break one, a 30, 40-yarder, and it's going to be a thing of beauty because this guy's got some speed, and he really knows how to rile up Bears fans with his mobility.
That run game excite you, Gaines, because we weren't, once again, there was a great unknown with this run game. When David Montgomery goes down, you think, well, there's a safety blanket for Justin Fields, and is he going to be hanging out there to dry? It looks like he has two guys he can rely on.
Williams coming over from a very successful program over there in Kansas City, and I just feel like Williams is a tough runner, and he's going to pound you, and he softens the load for Herbert to just blast through. The one thing that I do like about it, they do try to get north as soon as possible. It seems like Herbert's vision is always right. It's like he's making the block happen by where he takes the velocity of the run. And so I just like them. It's like they know where the first down marker is, and they're trying to get there. I haven't really seen the Bears have these often second and shorts, these third and shorts. These things, I believe, are helping our young quarterback. And I know we're talking about quarterback, but I can't wait to talk about our boy, our tight end. Oh my gosh,
Jasper.
Yes, man. Yes.
Jasper.
Exactly. I'm so excited, but I want to get to that thing because Justin Fields' first touchdown, career pass, pretty big deal, John.
Yeah, and just real quick about the run game, that was kind of the scouting report on Khalil Herbert, that he was never going to shake and bake you behind the line or make you second guess, but he was really good at finding the running lanes and really good at finding the holes, and so far, so good. But yes, Jesper Horsted, the first ever touchdown reception for Justin Fields. Aldo, I believe you tweeted it out earlier. That's going to be a trivia question, hopefully for the next 10, 15, 20, 60 years, about who was the first ever reception. We talked about getting the tight ends more involved. I was kind of speaking more specifically to Cole Kmet and Jimmy Graham, but hell, throw Jesper Horsted in there. That's why he made the team. Aldo, as this game progresses, as this season progresses, once again, I'm not trying to beat a dead horse here, but the fact that there is a new play caller, are we going to be seeing some of these more tight end centric kind of plays in the red zone where we didn't see a whole lot of that in the first couple weeks?
Yeah, I think there is a concerted effort to do that. The Bears coaching staff talked about it during press conferences this week that they really needed to get more targets to their tight ends, and I think we're seeing that today. And I'm glad that Jesper Horsted has finally gotten his chance to play. When he came to the Chicago Bears from Princeton, he was a converted wide receiver. He has tremendous athleticism. He played baseball at Princeton. He played football. And now he's getting a chance to play at the tight end position because he's, again, a converted from wide receiver. So he's got all this great athleticism. He never seems to drop a pass. He continues to make big plays. Remember the big touchdown catch he had against Detroit in Detroit last year? This guy is a player. And if you're not going to throw the ball to Jimmy Graham, which they never do anymore, well, go ahead and throw it to Horsted.
Yeah, as your boy, Tyler, what do you think about using Jesper Horsted in there?
I think it's pretty awesome that it's not preseason and we're calling his name. I mean, these are the plays that matter. Anybody can shine in practice, but that was traffic. He wasn't wide open. And he helped out his young QB that was on the run who ended up taking a hit on that play. I mean, that was a very physical drive. Once again, for the Bears to be up, we had a couple 3-and-outs. For the Bears to convert and get touchdowns, gentlemen. The Bears are scoring touchdowns. That's a big freaking deal. And like, what? On the road, John?
Yep.
And if I can add, that series was critical for the game because the Bears were basically 3-and-out the first two series on offense, and then the Raiders had just come off a 13-play drive. The defense was out there for a long time, and the Bears really needed to end that first quarter with a long drive. They did, thanks to some penalties by the Raiders. They took advantage of that, but they mounted their own 10-play drive that ended with a touchdown, and that was, in my mind so far, it seems to be like the turning point of the game. being able to convert from the Raiders' mistakes, a long sustained drive, keep the defense fresh, and they're out there going after Derek Carr. And it's great to see Khalil Mack and Derek Carr sparring with each other verbally. But Khalil better be careful, because one of those dumb officials might mistake for a taunting call. So be careful, Khalil.
Yeah, you brought it up, Aldo. We'd be remiss if we didn't at least talk about the defense a little bit before halftime's over. Really keeping the Raiders to mundane numbers, despite the fact they had some long drives that ate up some time. Derek Carr, 98 yards. Joshua Jacobs, only 25 yards rushing. Kenyon Drake, 11. And no one really lighting up the receiving core either. So it's Henry Ruggs, essentially, with one catch for 29 yards, and Waller with one catch for 29 yards. So the Bears, with that bend but don't break mentality, so far has worked really well. And the fact that the Raiders have been on the field, but they haven't put any, we're used to seeing the Bears on the field for 5-6 minutes of offense and then nothing happening out of it. The defense is imposing that on their offense so far. Really good first half effort out of the defense.
I want to say shout out to Danny Trevathan. Well, coming back in, he had a tackle on Jacobs. Jacobs, who's now, I believe, is 100%. Jacobs hasn't really shined that much since the week 1, and that his ankle is like better. But the Bears are playing better. That's the surprising fact, that we're actually keeping containment. Who would have thought that we would do the basics really well? But when you have Robert Quinn getting off his blocks, nobody's staying stagnant on their blocks. They're fighting off their blocks. Danny Trevathan and Ogletree, they're switching in and out, letting them get his win back. Not too many blown coverages. And so all these different things, John, I believe are helping. But we got to give a shout out to Roquan Smith, because the Raiders are getting to some short yardage, and they're stuffing the run. I saw we were getting exposed a little bit without Akeem Hicks in there. I do see a difference without Akeem Hicks, but it doesn't. But the Bears are getting off the field on third down.
Real quick before we get out of here, I just want to say hopefully it doesn't come down to the Bears needing all 3 timeouts down the run, because they seem to just fritter those away, like especially before an extra point. So hopefully it doesn't come down to the Bears needing timeouts. Yeah. But that'll do us for the halftime report. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you tune in post game. We'll be right here the second the clock hits 000. Bear Football on the Barroom Network. We'll see you after the game.